What's up, my peeps? This is Michael, the Playmaker Irvin. You know who I am, and you know where you are. This is what I like to call our locker room. Thank you for taking the time right here on my YouTube channel. We got so much that's been going on in the world of sports. It's so funny because last week when we were talking, we was like, last few weeks it's been a slow time, but then so many things have happened. And I'm not talking about just in the sense of us watching games and scoring, but a lot of things have been happening around the sports world. Some very inspiring and some, like today, very sad. You guys, we want to start by saying we're sending prayers to all the victims and their families with that horrific situation in New York. For you guys who don't know, there was a New York shooter that had intentions to go to the NFL office and shoot up the office, but I think he mistakenly got off on the wrong floor, 33rd floor instead of the 34th floor, and went into a real estate company and shot and killed 4 people. I don't, want to mention anyone's name because guys, well, certainly the person who allegedly did this, don't you? Because a lot of times they do this for notoriety, for people to be able to say their names, because most of the time, I always say, you get people, when people are suicidal, and this is why mental health is so important. Whenever you get people, and I say this all the time, and you be careful around me that speak like this, get them help immediately or get away immediately. Whenever you hear anyone speaking and he's suicidal, I always say he's certainly homicidal. If he doesn't care about his own life and being, then, it's hard for me to imagine he would care about mine. So if you know anyone, even when they sing things like this, man, you got to get them some help. You got to get them some help, or you have to. You have to, or you got to be careful. One or the other. And we're going to pray for everybody, all the victims, all of their family and friends who are devastated. You're devastated with this. Man, God bless you. God bless you. Now, this is even a hard turn, and I started talking about we have a tragic situation like that. And then you guys have seen that I got a chance to sit and talk with my boy, Deion Sanders. So, you go from the horrific things that are going on in New York, and then you go to a situation that could have been a horrific situation, but now becomes such an inspiration for so many people. And I want to share with you guys, and I want to hear from you guys about this. Let me go first in this. This was different than anything I've done. I've sat and interviewed many people, but it's my boy, and I love him. And I'm gonna tell you guys this too, because our love is pure. Like, when I'm going to see Deion and try to lift him up, this is not for any future gain. I had never mentioned anything to him about sitting down with me through all of that. I would never have done that to him. Never said anything about it. And a lot of the things that he talked about in the interview, I was learning with you guys. You see, I knew I was one of the first person he told, I knew he had cancer. I knew that situation. But once he tells you, man, we were in an emotional place and praying, and then, oh my God, man. And I told him I haven't prayed that hard in so long, so long, you know. And then I said, yeah, I do remember when I prayed that when I was laying on the carpet in Philadelphia. And that's why when he was waving over me, and it was again, oh my God. Oh. So I didn't ask about the particulars. I didn't ask, when did you get it? I mean, how did this happen? I never asked. And I never would have asked because doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Just what we're going to do now. So for me to be hearing it, dude, listen, for me to be hearing it, and I'm going to say this, like I said, for me to hear this man tell me while I'm interviewing him, I said, Deion, you're telling me you knew this when the draft was going on? And he said, yes, dude, that broke my heart. That broke my heart. And be careful with that. That broke my heart. Let me tell you why. And I know the work that goes into it. From the time little Shador and Shiloh and those guys, boom, time he put into it. I know Deion's own pain with his father's situation and his greatest promise, that's him as a father. So the glory of him coaching these boys, raising them up, putting every ounce and every dream and everything into them for the last 20-some years. After he had done what he done, and the deal between him and Shador was, Shador would always say, I just want to get drafted one slot higher than my dad. Oh, this was their thing. And Deion would joke with him about it, but Deion knew his job was to get him there. Think about it. Shador was supposed to be the second pick. His job was to get him there. Man, you bust your ass for 20-some years. And you do it all for this one day. And everybody all over going into that draft was thinking, Deion Sanders, man, he's so cocky. He's sitting on top of the world. He had just gotten a $60 million contract. And nobody knew. He was sitting there with cancer. And the only thing that could probably take him out of this depth of death is to see the glory on his son's face. And then he had to sit there and watch that thing. Dude, that's how I see it. And that broke my heart. Now, the other side of it is, look at how all of them have handled it. Now that we know, you see, this is why you don't put your mouth on people. You don't know what people are going through. Look at now how all of them are handling it. And here I say, what that devil meant for evil. I told you, God's going to make it good. Deion's going to inspire so many people, even Gene, Gene, my good friend, worked with. He said, each first time when we got together, when we sat down to go see Deion, he said, man, I went and got checked. You made me go get checked. Deion's Superman. And dude, I've been telling you guys, we have so many people that are sitting around me right now that I'm seeing that is getting sick. We gotta get checked. I'm working out like a crazy man. Like a crazy man. Trying to make sure I don't go through that. That's all in God's hand and God's will. But we gotta get checked. We gotta work out. And now Deion gets on that horse. This one thing I say, and I want to hear from you guys. This one thing I want to say from you guys. When I say God gonna make it good. Oh, it's so crazy the way I think. But so many people try to tell me what my boy is, or, talk about Deion ain't real and Deion this and this and that. This. He had paid any dudes when he got into coaching, all of that. And he's always preached and he always speaks and preach about inspiring people, motivating people, pushing people to be their best them, reaching down inside of each kid, trying to pull out their king. He's always been about that. And he's just dealt with some crucial things, man, crucial things. And look how he's handling it. Look how his sons have handled the hard times. What I'm saying to you is he's not just talking the talk. Situations like this will show you he walks the walk. And now he becomes an inspiration for so many people that's going through it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let me hear from you guys. I just wanted to say that. That was, but it was hard because I was listening and finding out like you guys were, and yeah, and I love them. And it hurt. It hurt to know that, man. It hurt to know that. So yeah, let me hear. Playmaker, you the GOAT. Okay, my guy. I appreciate that, young champ. I appreciate that. Oh, wait, I can't even tell y'all. Wait till y'all see that walking on the field part. And because we go to some more fun things and how that is. But we'll talk about that towards the end. Let me just hear what you got to say. This brings us together. The real talk. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But also the real support. Like, look at the people that Deion has and how many people he give out to, and pour out to. And he does it steady. I mean, he's a steady, everyday kind of dude. So, that's why I call him my little big brother. Man, you look at my desk a mess. Deion stuff on, he's OCD. And he's using that OCD to do great things, man. Yeah. Reese, we love Coach Prime. I appreciate you telling me you love Coach Prime. I love him too, man. And that is real. That is real, Miki. Is that how you say that, Miki? That is real. It's real love. It's for real. And let me tell y'all, I say this, because I tell you, like even that conversation, like I would have never said anything to Deion about that. Deion be like, man, I want to sit down with you afterwards. So he knows. He's always doing things. He's always gonna slick look out for you. Gonna slick look out for you. Like he'll call me and say, hey man, this show want you to come on. I said, okay, all right, we'll see. And I said, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, Tom. I don't, because I'm gonna be doing. He said, man, no. You. So he's already helped the other side. He got somebody on the other side, and he told him he's gonna get it. He'll get me. He'll say, no, Michael, I need you. You're gonna do this one. So just work it out. If that means I ain't got can't say no to it, or because he's a thinker like that. He knows more than I do, to be honest with you. I'll call him and say, dude. This dude trying to get me to come on, and this dude been talking about you in some grimy way. I'm going to go on, pull out that belt, and put one of our little Florida tongue lashing on him. Let me just go drop. He'd be like, no, Mike. No. We're not gonna do that. Don't do that. Hold on. I'll tell you if I need you. Don't do that. So he'll say, let's starve him. I say, I ain't got that kind of patience. I'm gonna go out and get him. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I want to see that JJ says you did a great job with that interview. Keep your composure. I appreciate that. It was the hardest conversation I've ever had. I was telling somebody because that's why they tell you, like, if something goes on and you're a police officer, you can't be a part of the investigation because it doesn't, it's different. It's different. It hits different. It means something different. You know, I got mad all over again when he told me he was sick for the draft. Because I'm a football player, I know what that means. I know what it is to be a dad, and your son wants to get drafted today, or at least a spot before you, and y'all made this y'all thing for 20-some years. And Deion playing with him, there's nothing more that he wants than him to get drafted second. Great men, great fathers certainly always want their kids to do what I call stand on their ceiling. My job is to get as high as I can, do best I can. I want my kid to stand on that ceiling, but make it his floor and take it higher. And being a number 2 pick, while my dad was the 4 or 5 pick, means I won. Means both of them win. Deion wins and the kid wins. I hate my boy. I hate that for my boy. I hate that, So I'm just saying that, man. Yeah, let's see here. Okay, Pimp Pal, Playmaker, you're a great friend to Coach Prime. You really got him. I did get him out of slump now. The pressure kids set you in your series. You're right. Let me tell you something. That's what I promise you. The one thing that is crucial, and you guys remember when I tweeted, I said that's the thing that my bishop told me. Whenever you get someone in that place where they've lost a loved one or going through something real hard, real difficult, you gotta try to change the frequency, because just what you said, you just start pulling things down, more and more things down, negative things. Look at the procession of depression. Look at how you go into it. So, well, I just wasn't feeling good. I ain't feel like getting out of bed. I don't know. I'm really tired. I'm staying in bed. And you just go worse and worse. Then you're like, I'm depressed. And then you're depressed. I'm suicidal. Now your brain works like a magnet. I'm going to tell you guys, this is the ether. This is the ether. Everything we say is a vibration of sound that floats in this ether. As I'm speaking, it's just sound floating in this ether. This is true. This is true. So your brain is like a magnet, and all of sounds, thoughts, and everything is floating out here in this ether. And once you start thinking with that brain, if it's negative thoughts, it pulls down more negative thoughts out the ether. That's how you get on this pathway down. You're continuously pulling out negative thoughts. So you got to get to the person and try to change their frequency. Change so they can start pulling down negative thoughts and start laughing, pulling down joy, pulling down funny. That's real deal stuff. That's real deal. Once you start laughing again, you can look for another laugh. Before, you were in so much pain, you didn't think about laughing, and you certainly didn't have any hope of other laughter. So yeah, that's important, man. And he was. I told you he was so down when I got there. By the time I left, we were laughing, and it was a whole different thing the first time I went to see him the first time. So it was good. It was good. Yeah, after game vibrations. Yeah, we have that. We had that. But y'all, I'm gonna tell you something too, though. I can't wait till y'all see. Like, even when we walked on the football field, that's the next part we'll play. We walked on the football field, and I can't mess it up. But how that thing ended, we will talk about that. You know what I'm saying? How that thing all ended. We will definitely talk about that, man. But everybody out here, just look how life turns that fast. All the greatest things in the world is going on. And then just that fast, you can get some news and boom, you're in a whole different place. And when I went to see Deion, I knew because like the caller said, like person said, when I went through my knee operation, I told you I went through a depression because I can't see myself playing again in a great way. And I just kept having negative thoughts, negative thoughts. Oh my God. I had to learn all about how did that happen? I thought I was above that. I thought that never could happen to me, and it did. So I had to go and learn about that thing. And I'm telling you, you gotta be careful. Think about how powerful this is. How powerful. Your phone, right? When we get on the phone, you pick your phone. Hello. You punch in a number. Somebody could be in Germany. Hello. They say hello to you right now. There's no hello. Bouncing, hitting the wires, driving. It's right now. That's your vibrational sound that hit this little device, bam, hit towers, and boom, somebody in Germany saying hello right back. That's how powerful that vibrational sound is out here. That's how powerful your positive thoughts are. That's how dangerous your negative thoughts are. Let's just be real here. I appreciate everybody because a lot of people are saying, the Texas Hold'em and everybody. And I'm getting a lot of prayers and prayers for Deion, and I appreciate that. Let me not make sure. Let me tell you guys, and prayers for the families in New York. There's nothing more important than that. It really is. There's nothing more important than that. Because as long as we can see our way out, we can start working, and we got people around us praying for us like that. You can start working your way out. Every day is a gift. Sneaker man, every day is a gift. And I don't think a lot of us sometimes understand all of that, man. And we don't appreciate it all the way. I'm learning more and more how to appreciate my time and taking every day as a gift. So maybe I'm getting a little older. Yeah, no doubt. You know what I mean? I am definitely getting a little older, But dude, listen, it's a good thing though. I told you we got a lot going on. We do have a lot going on. Bill, a lot of people take life for granted. And that's why I share with everybody, be careful when you're around people that takes life too much for granted and don't see the value of life and the value of their own life. Just be ye careful. I told you guys we have so much going on, that is good. Those things, we talk about New York, and certainly when you talk about New York, that's a sad situation. And you talk about Deion turning a sad situation into a glad situation, or a mess into a great message, Now he has a great message. Can you imagine too, this is one of the most physically gifted dudes ever to play in sports. Ever to play in sports. Physically gifted. Yeah. Yeah, we get Deion. It can get us. It can get us all. So let's go get them checkups like Prime Time said. I guarantee you they're going to have prime checkups and everything going on in Colorado. Come get your prime checkup because that's what he does with everything that he goes through. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get football. I don't want to get talking about some stuff on the football. Well, it's still not on the football field because we're not playing any games. But did you guys hear Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and they were talking about the contract situations, saying that they don't hold on to too late to sign their players. And Steven said something like, you can only sign when guys are ready to sign. And there's a lot of things that they are watching. And you can't just give somebody an extra $5 million because you want to get them signed early. And I'm like, well, that's not true. You can give somebody an extra $5 million if you give it to them over the life of a deal. It's a 4-year deal. A lot of times, say you at 40, and they'll be at 40, 41 or 42. So you're really talking about your $1 million over the life of a deal is 4 or 5 million. But what they do is wait so long, it costs $5 million more a year every year. That's what they did. It wasn't quite as much with Zeke, but that's what they did with Zeke. What they did with CD, if you had stepped to him. So I don't know why Stephen Jones would say that. Almost implies like we ready to give people the money, but the players don't take it. That's just not true. Because I rather the Cowboys just try something different here. You pinpoint them, and well, let me give you this too. It's not just that's not totally true what they just said because they do wait too long. They even tried to poke out and mess out and say, well, like, look at it because we probably stepped out too early with Trayvon Diggs. That's kind of what I felt. You know what I'm saying? And because you can tell they're kind of upset with Trayvon Diggs for training, rehabbing back in Miami and not rehabbing here in Dallas. I thought he should have been in Dallas too. So I understand their perspective on that. I just don't understand why they had to make it public. Now, how that affects him and the poison he brings to the locker room. If he didn't make it, just don't give him the money, but they don't need you out there talking about it. I'm sure he wasn't going to be out there bragging to the world that he dropped $500,000, and that should have been handled mob style, in-house. Nobody should have said anything outhouse about that. And you still could have gotten him, made him understand, hey, you can't get this money. Okay, we got some questions over here. What was that about? Have you considered my son, Deion Sanders, a.k.a. Joe? Yeah. And that's something when Deion says that. Have you considered my son? And it had its highest moment. And it's funny because, well, you guys are seeing the same piece. I wonder if you ever thought you wouldn't be able to do any of that anymore. Have you considered my servant Joe? He will never curse me. I ain't gonna never curse God either. Now, I ain't gonna never curse God, but I ain't Hercules. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna never get me to curse God. You may get me some other kind of way. You know what I'm saying? I'll let that go. Y'all know what I'm saying. But I ain't gonna never curse God. But yeah, I'm gonna let you. Yeah, yeah. But y'all know what I'm saying. But that right there, I wish Jerry and I told you guys, I wish this one time we said, okay, let's move on the Michael Parsons situation, and get something done, and you work it out. You know what the number is. And they can work it out. So I hope they do that. But the best thing we heard, guys, that Tyler Guyton news was big. We can say what we want to say, but any chance they have of winning this year, they got to first establish a run game. You got to establish a run game. Now you establish a run game and you have CD, George Pickens, and a Dak Prescott that's healthy. Tyler Guyton being out for 4 weeks instead of for the whole season. And it says 4 to 6 weeks now, so say he'll miss the first game. But he'll be trying to push him back by the first game. But we'll get him for the season. Excuse me. And we'll need him for the season. So that's going to play out so big, man. Everything we do, everything the Cowboys do this year, it'll show up in the stats of the skill players. But it'll only be bound and it'll only happen if the guys up front are right. And this may be one of the times, and because I know in the passing game And I believe they got more than enough in the passing game. If we go find this run game, you're right back in this thing. I don't care what anybody say. You're right back in this thing, and the Cowboys will be right back in this thing. You know what I mean? CD and George could eat. Yeah, they could eat, but we don't need Tyler Guyton back there just to try to, make sure Dak stays upright so he can feed these monsters the football. I'm telling you guys, that was a big escape. Having him just have that bone bruise. Do you think 11 should be the highest paid? No, absolutely. 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 I think 11 should be a highest paid. As I've said, and I'll say it again, I think Jerry should make him the Patrick Mahomes for the Dallas Cowboys. So that means give him a 10-year, $450 million contract right now. So you know what I mean? That's 45 a year. Really ain't going to, because it's 10 years spread out. Just, you start looking at future value and present value, but it sounds so good, and they get worked up numbers. You can and then you can go in to his contract every now and then and make more money and just keeping him up at the top. That's what you should do with Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons wants to be here, and now I'm starting to get worried with some of the other things I hear when Jerry when they're talking about his age and everything, and even the Diggs thing, because you're giving Michael Parsons an opportunity to shake loose and start causing an issue when he's coming in peace. I want you to get that deal done. What do you think the Diggs and everybody's going to be saying in his ear? Man, Jerry, man, always do people. I told you they were going to do this, man. You thought you were different, man. You thought you were going to be special. They're doing the same thing to you. Now you just turned that greatness. He wanted to be here. He loved to be here. And now the people close to him telling them stuff, man, you got to get this right, man. And don't let this man lose none of that intensity so we can get to the football field. Doing all you're doing on offense without that great pass rusher, gonna leave us with some problems. I'm telling y'all right now. Gonna leave us with some problems. That's all I'm going to say. So Jerry, boy, you go out and do a $450 million, $10-year deal for Michael Parsons right now. Take the first 3 years guaranteed. That's 45 at 90. Make that's for 150 guaranteed. And then boom, we'll see it again in 3 years. That's how you do that and get it done now. Jerry need to have a seat several years. Yeah, several seats. Yeah. You got people. We ain't got to ever talk about Jerry letting it go. We don't have to talk about Jerry letting it go. He's not going to let it go. He's not ever going to let it go. And I don't fade him for that. Because if I'm Jerry, I wouldn't be letting it go. Now I'm a win by now. I'm a win by now. But I won't ever let it go either. But if you just try to get ahead of it, and get the right feeling going into training camp and eliminate all this mess right here going into training camp, dude, I just believe so much can come out of it if he did that, if they take that approach. Well, Jerry takes that approach, you know what I'm saying? Let me just listen to you guys now, and tell me what you thought with the season and everything. You treat also into how people are doing it. Not just Michael Parsons in camp, but they won't be going real full speed, doing much of anything, kind of hold-ins. Terry McLaurin in camp, kind of hold-ins. Trey Henderson plans on showing up tomorrow to camp, but still negotiating, kind of doing that hold-in thing. Now listen, that hold-in thing, That's a little trick because I can tell you guys the new CBA, they get fined so much holding out. So now they come in and come up with an injury. Oh, my back is hurting. Things that you can't check and deny, and they hold in. You know what I mean? They hold in. Let me hear what this here says. Why would the owner of the Steelers want Aaron Rodgers instead of Shedeur Sanders? Yeah, I don't take that question, Pen Pal, as why would he want one over the other? Why wouldn't he want them both? It's like my favorite candy that I tell you guys about, that now and later. You could have been eating now and had a great chance to eat later. That's what it is. You had Aaron Rodgers in the now and give Shedeur Sanders a chance to learn from one of the great, and you could have had a great chance to chow down later. So yeah, that was for me a bad thing. Listen here though. Is it Blinder? Blinder. I think the Falcons with Penix going to be nice. You think? I think he got a chance because that kid said something the other day that I thought was fascinating. B. John Robinson is balling, and he's quickly becoming one of the top players in this league and growing his brand. Drake London, he's quickly becoming one of those top players. Kyle Pitts for Atlanta is the only one that hasn't jumped out like he needs to. And he's the one that, with the physical skill set, to jump out more than any. I mean, phenomenal numbers, how fast he runs, how high he jumps, all those phenomenal athletes, but hasn't really played like they expected him to. And you saw what Michael Penix Jr. did, right? After the first week of practice, comes in. He said, boy, y'all saw it out there. Y'all saw KP. KP had a great day out there. It tells me he gets it. He gets it. You know, he knows he has KP. He sees the physical skill set. He knows his kid maybe even lacking, just as talented, as gifted as he is, just not fully confident in all that he is because of the lack of success he's had. And this young dude, what I saw was lifting him up. You see, what he said right to the microphone. He didn't just, hey, way to play, boy. Doing good. He did that. So you and everybody can tell him, Kyle Pitts, man, I heard what your boy said. And they building that thing just like that. I heard your boy said he gonna get you that ball, you. I mean, he believes in you. That's the kind of thing I like seeing from a young quarterback like that. So yeah. He was amazing with O'Donnell. He was amazing with O'Donnell. That boy, God, leave boy, you ain't lying. I saw him me wrong, but they were bad boys, man. So I can't wait to see what happens with that. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to also seeing what happened in Minnesota. You know, that's going to be pretty cool, pretty interesting. And I tell you why. I tell you why I say that. Justin Jefferson has turned everybody that said hut into a hell of a quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Can he do this again? I know they got great coaching, and you got a Justin Jefferson. And if you can you stick at another quarterback after doing what they did with Kirk and then Sam, and you do it. This don't hurt the quarterback market. Like, I guess I can find one, and shift one off and then do it again with another, shift one off, do it again. That's just incredible. But it speaks to two things. I got a great coach and a great play caller, and I got a receiver that that Jerry Sullivan told me personally is the most competitive receiver since he coached Michael Irvin coming out of high school when he was coaching this kid, Justin Jefferson, coming out of high school. That's the phone call I got. So I'm just saying, I can't wait to see what happened with Minnesota. Huh? You know what I mean? What is this here? What do you say? Who's playmaker on Dallas Cowboys? Who's the playmaker on the Dallas Cowboys? Let me tell you what I saw too right now. Well, 88 is the playmaker. Now we can get more out of 88 with what's going on around him. Last year, especially when everybody went down, but even start the year, everything was just focused on 88. We were real limited. And now you get a run game and you get George. And what I'm liking too now is also Vontae Turpin. I'm watching coach him hard the other day, telling him stay on the ground and the possibilities now that you have to get him in the open field with what you got on the other side. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing all of that, man, coming together. I was watching Cam highlights recently, and it's funny seeing your reaction on the sideline. But yeah, you're talking about the Miami stuff, huh? That dog, that's different, dude. That is so different. You know, I'm an older dude. My career is over. My time is up. But I still get to go and hang out with those guys, right? And last year, those guys brought me in, and I watched the growth. I've talked about it here. Like the guard Cooper, 73, man, I'm 73. I watched such great growth, man. I get to see that. And I consider that to be some of the greatest blessings God can give us. That's why I always say I measure men in distance travel. Don't tell me about where you are. Tell me about where you started. And I will see where you are and measure you accordingly. So to me, Coop, that was a bad man because I watched great growth in that, man. I watched him throwing up the first game and then leading by the end of the season. And I know what he's going to do this year. That's the kind of stuff that I don't get to see if I'm sitting in the stands. I certainly don't even get to see when I'm doing it on TV. It's being on that sideline that you get to see that. Oh, yeah, we should. You guys let me know, people, too. Um, diving into some interviews and everything and talking about people. So talk to me about people that you want me to try to get in the locker room and just chat with. So many people that's really in some crucial situations that I would like to talk to and chat with. So you guys, because it's the locker room, it's what we want to do. Do. Alexis Williams, the Bucky. Bucky. Deion Jr., Deion Sanders Jr., Bucky. Because y'all know that's my boy now. So I don't know if you messing with this right here. Yeah, dude. I don't know if you mess with Bucky because Bucky, that was my boy. When Deion, we were playing, that's what I used to run around the locker room and dump in the garbage cans and pull out the garbage cans. So I would love to play with him and bring him on and mess with him, talk to him because he does such a great job for Deion. But I'm going to Cam Ward. I see Cam Ward on here. I can't wait to talk to Cam because I love what Cam Ward is doing. And dude, talk about this. Is it not incredible to how much we have not heard from Cam? The first pick in the NFL draft. I mean, times are so changed that people get to hear who they want to hear. Like before, I think the NFL and the TV stations controlled that because they could tell you what you're seeing. They could tell us what we were seeing. But now, social media, the real people say this is what we want to talk about. And I'm amazed that we haven't had more talk about Cam Ward. And I can't wait to see what kind of season he's about to have. So absolutely, we'll sit down and grab Cam and have a conversation with Cam. Why you put Teddy Bridgewater up there, man? That is a great conversation, dude. Big wake up. I'll get TB. Let me tell you why, man. Because you think this man was doing This man was trying to do in his mind the right thing, and I thought there should have been some compassion there, and especially Teddy knows, and a lot of people. This is what bothers me a lot of times. So people that are making these decisions don't. There be people up high sometimes that don't really understand how things work down low, and sometimes these kids don't have anything. And and Teddy, who's had a whole career and everything, just our people are like that anyway. Well, you can't help. You played in the NFL. Trust me, I know. Trust me, I know. And and it's part of your standings in the whole community when you have the ability to, and then you just you don't. I hate what they did to Teddy, you know. And I wish he would have been fully aware of his consequences and even putting it out because he kind of told on himself, putting it out, asking for help because he wants to serve the kids. And here comes the people, you're breaking the rule and you're making it bad for these kids. Stop. Stop. Let the man help people. Let the man help kids, y'all. You just stop it. Let him help it. Yeah, I talked with Dez, you know. I talked with Dez, and that's my dude, other 88. I definitely talk with Dez. I love Dez. And I see Dez all the time out here on social media. Dez is an interesting dude. I talked to him the other day. So yeah, we'll start getting into all of that. I'm gonna start definitely jumping on and having some fun talking to people. You know what? I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna do that too. I'll get Key. I'm gonna get Paul. I'll get Joy. I'll ask Joy. I saw something today that Joy was saying she's stepping away. I don't know. I don't know what's AI generated or what is, what's not. But I'll find out. Dude, I'll certainly find out what's going on with Alvin Harper. Snoop Dogg, that's my boy too. Y'all know, man. I tell you, Snoop. I let Snoop tell them stories when we get them on. You know what I'm saying? But y'all, you wonder. I do wonder because I haven't heard from Harper in a while, so I'm gonna reach out to him too to see how he's doing, and especially since we have a nice little Mike Irvin, Alvin Harper thing going right now for the Dallas Cowboys. That's a great one to talk to Alvin Harper about and get a chance to just see and talk with Alvin Harper. Um, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But we get anybody. We're gonna get everybody, and we're gonna have some fun in this locker room with you guys sharing. The great thing though, dude, let's talk this real. What's happening Thursday? Tomorrow's Wednesday, right? I gotta fly. Oh, I'll get in it. I'll get in it. Yeah, and the Shark. I'll see all of these guys um, at an event here, and I'm getting ready to go because I'm getting ready to go to the Hall of Fame. I would love for you to hear Ken Norton. Somebody said Ken Norton. I would love for you to hear the story of how Ken Norton and I came up because I was first round pick and he was the second round pick in '88. So we had so much fun, and that's and telling those stories to tell you. Yeah, with Mark Higgs, I remember Higgins was the running back drafted. Oh, why? Oh yeah, we'll laugh about that. So I'll get him on. But we got Lions versus Chargers in Thursday night football. Let me close with this. Let me start tying it down with this. Lions versus Chargers. You guys know we're not going to see anybody in these games. You will not, we won't be seeing pretty much anybody in these games, but you're going to see football. And that's what's great. I guarantee you will get Post Malone. I guarantee you I will get Post Malone out here to talk to you guys because the Post is my boy. And Post loves the Cowboys. So, yeah. And Hollywood Henderson is a good one too. And that's a unique conversation because man, that's a very good one too, because he goes so far in the depth of his whole situation, and he's into the revival. trying to help other people do better, be better. And yep, Jalen asked about Thurman Thomas. That's my boy. Dude, do you know what's so funny? Kendrick married Brock Marion. Now, you guys, I haven't talked to Brock Marion in a while. I haven't talked, but just making me think about. You make me think about some of the guys that I haven't talked to in a long time, man. Yeah, you're right. Allen Iverson would be insane. And Kendrick, Darren Woodson, I'm gonna get him soon because hey, we got the Hall of Fame coming up right here. As a matter of fact, I should talk to Darren because Darren Woodson should be in the Hall of Fame. You know, he should be in the Hall of Fame. So we right around this, since we got the Hall of Fame coming up, it'll be a good time to talk about that or talk to him. So I'll fill that out. But speaking of Hall of Fame, I'm looking forward to just seeing get on the football field and take a few hits. And then our season will be off and running. I'm getting on the plane tomorrow to fly to Chicago. I will be doing an autograph show in Chicago Thursday. So I'll fly out tomorrow evening. I'll do the show Thursday. And then I get on a plane and fly to Canton, Ohio for the Hall of Fame game and the start of the NFL season. I will see what goes on at this Hall of Fame and bring it to you right here in the locker room. But it would be a good time just for me to grab a Darren Woodson and talk about it, man, right now like this. But I'm going to tell you something. First time I got up to be in the Hall of Fame was 2005. Me, Steve Young, Troy Aikman, you know, Troy. I didn't get in 05. Me and Steve Young. 06 was with Troy. 07 was in Miami. That's what it was. And then, yeah, boom. Yeah, 07, it was in Miami. But 05, we were in Jacksonville. And I didn't get in, and Steve Young got in. I was working on ESPN with Steve Young. Choke, I cried like a baby. I cried like a baby, man. Man, I cried like a baby. And then I had to fix up. I had to get up, fix up, and then go over here and congratulate Steve Young and keep all of my sorrow out the way so we could celebrate Steve getting in. That was hard. That was hard. You know, yeah. But in 07, the joy was there, and I was happy. But a lot of guys like Darren Woodson, how are you the leading tackler for the Dallas Cowboys, and you own Super Bowl rings galore, and you're not in the Hall of Fame? I think that's not right. That's the travesty. We may have to talk to him just about that. All right. Thank you guys for this week. And I'm telling you right now, we're going to drop that other half of that interview with Deion, and you're going to enjoy it. You know, the first part was really about the health and everything and what he's overcome and what he's had to come through. Now, the next part will be about what he's going to and what he's going to get done moving forward. I would love to sit down with Caitlin Clark. I would reach out and try to get with her because I just love the fight she has in her. And I heard them talking about her super funny the other day. I heard them talking about which one needs who the most, Caitlin Clark or the WNBA. And because, you know, because they're beating her up pretty good in WNBA and people think they should be, that's your best best asset. You should be not beating her up, giving her the Michael Jordan treatment and all of those things. The fact, what I like is that Caitlin Clark just plays. She just plays and plays hard. So, yeah, I would love to sit down and have that conversation with her. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that, Avell Johnson. I got cheers. He says, I got cheers when I heard Prime say you motivated him. You are the GOAT. I made a motivator, made him laugh, made him remember how bad he was, how great he was, And you guys remember because I was putting that video out to him, but I'll be over there bucket naked, playing tennis, bucket naked, shooting basketball. When he called me later, he said him and Bucky was going out to play. He said they were going out to play some tennis, and they both just started busting out laughing when they walked on the tennis court. Because what did they think about? They say the first thing they thought of, can you imagine Mike with his black butt bucket naked running on it? That's all you're trying to do is change that frequency. But I would be running around there bucket naked. I'm not joking about that. I'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for spending some time with me right here in the locker room. God bless my people.